Good day, everyone. Welcome to it once again. We are now on the tomb message, as I called it, because we believe right now that Jesus is in the tomb. Well, he was not now. Now he's risen. So we going right through with the message for today, and we are continuing, and we are still reading the book of Luke, and I'm still on chapter 22, verses 1 to 6, and we're still on our topic. You cannot hide from your heart. We have spoken much about the heart. We have seen what the heart is, and I don't want to elaborate further or explain much of what I've already said. I just want to get straight into today's message again. And let me quickly page to where we are reading. Once again, we're just going to be reading a few scriptures as I'll be also elaborating on the text that we have. But for now, before I get into it, I want us to speak about this man that we are reading about here, as I'll be using him as a case study in this topic that we have, which is, again, I say, you cannot hide from your heart. And we have spoken more about what the heart is and understanding what we're talking about now. We're not talking about the organ, but we've seen that we're talking about your inner self. We have seen that we are talking about the person. We're talking about the self. We're talking about you individually, talking about the soul. And that is what we're talking about when we say we cannot hide from your heart. And that is the heart. So that's what we're talking about. We have explained it and what the heart is. Continuing now, I want us to seek out this man Judas. As I'm saying, you cannot hide from your heart, because this is a man that has been working with Jesus, and he has had a heart that was contrary to what the rest of the disciples' heart had. Hence, I'll be using him as my case study to bring about an application in this exposition that we have, according to what the Lord has laid in my heart today. Now, going back to our text, remember our text, we found it in the book of Luke. Now, let me explain a bit about this book. This book of Luke is written by the man himself, which is Dr. Luke. And when he writes this book, Luke is writing to a man by the name of Theophilus. Theophilus is a Greek name. Therefore, we suppose and we think that he is also Greek, because even the text itself, the gospel itself, if you read it and you analyze it, it seems as if the audience which it is written for, it is actually a Greek audience, because it is a detailed and it is more academic in its own writing. That means the person who wrote it was well learned, writing to people who are also learned to explain more about Jesus. And he's explaining Jesus in this sense. He's saying that though Jesus was and is actually God, but Jesus is and was literally a man. He was not is, but he was a man, and he walked as a man. That's why he's writing. You see much reference of him saying the Son of Man. That is why Luke wrote this gospel. Now we are moving, cutting right through to the chase, because I don't want to be long today. When you move and to where we're writing, we are towards the latter days of Jesus, towards the end, before, according to this gospel, before he went for the Passover. This is what actually happened. We come to a point where now the Bible says, as they drew nearer to that day, the chief priests and the scribes, we know as we read the gospels that their attempt and what they wanted to do was actually to persecute, actually to deal with Jesus completely. So they've been plotting, they've been planning, but because of the crowds, because of the multitudes, they could not do it. And they also needed evidence to prove that this man is actually a sinner. So that's what they've been looking for. Now we are coming through now towards the end. We are coming towards now the pinnacle of Jesus' ministry, because the pinnacle of Jesus' ministry, let me tell you now, was not the miracles that he did, was not anything that he was doing, but the pinnacle of Jesus' ministry was actually this part, when he was nearer to accomplishing the purpose that he was here for, which was the cross and to die for our sin. So now we are nearer to it. Let us I want us now to go to the book of John, as I'm explaining more about this man Judas. The Bible does not tell us where Judas comes from. The Bible does not tell us when Judas was called to be amongst the 12. We don't know of that. We were not told, like your Peter and all of them. We know where they come from, but with Judas, unfortunately, we don't know. But here's one thing that we know about Judas when we read precisely in is John chapter 6. And I'm just going to read one verse for the sake of time. As I said, I don't want to spend much time here. And it reads like this. John chapter 6, it's a very common chapter that people love. And verse 70 of it says, Jesus answered them, did I not choose you, the 12? One of you is a devil. This is Jesus now, he's speaking. This is Jesus now, he's showing us, he's reiterating, and he's showing us what actually is going on here. And he's speaking to his disciples. In speaking to his disciples, this is the message that Jesus is bringing across. He has spoken. In fact, before I get to this point, we know the scripture that Jesus spoke something which was somewhat controversial to people's ears. Therefore, people who were following him decided to leave. Now, when they left, the 12 remained. Now, Jesus turns to the 12, now coming to where we are. Turning to the 12, Jesus says, aren't you guys going to leave as well? Because people have left because it seems like my message is too hard to understand. Now, Peter responds, and we know the response, we always quote it. He says, where can we go if we move away from you? Because the words of life are found in you. And after that, he says, okay, now let's go. And he says, did I not choose you 12? Did I not? Meaning, you 12 are already predestined and are chosen, and I've wanted, and I want you 12. You 12 already chosen. But here's the contradistinction in that now, the thing that changes. He says, although one of you is a devil. Now we know that Jesus is not a person who can turn away anyone that comes to him. So much so as we as a church, we cannot turn away people when they come to church. We cannot say, no, you're okay, you are not, you are not, you are not. Jesus, when people come to him, he accepts them. So now he accepts these 12, even though one of them is a devil. Note now, when you read 70, John also said that he is a devil. Now, we understand that in choosing him like that, we come to a point where we must understand something now about this man. Judas is following Jesus from that day on. In fact, he started even before. So he saw Jesus doing a miracle with food. He saw Jesus do a lot of things. The gospel gives us many accounts. Jesus walked on water. Jesus healed the sick. When, in fact, let me jump to it. Let me jump to it. Now I'm jumping. This is chapter 11. Chapter 11 speaks of Lazarus' death. Now, when Lazarus was resurrected by Jesus from the tomb, Judas was there. He was there. So what am I saying with that? I want you to understand that performance cannot change a person. No matter how hard you may try to perform for someone that they may change, they will not change. Because if he wanted to change, it was time for Jesus to change, seeing all the miracles that was happening around him. But those miracles did not turn his heart around. Why? Because his heart was bad. His heart was evil. Whatever miracle was going on did not even move an inch in Judas' heart to kind of think that actually this is the man we're waiting for. Let me change. Why? Because performance, again I say, performance cannot change a person's heart. You guys who are saying you will change him or her, nah, he will not change. Performance will not bring that to you. Now, you read again in John chapter 12. John chapter 12, I want to read just a few verses. When I read from verse 4, this is what it says. But one of his disciples, Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, who would betray him, said, why is this fragrant of oil not sold for 300 denarii and given to the poor? This he said, not because he cared for the poor, but because he was a thief and had a money box, and he used to take what was put in it. So Judas, as we know him, he was holding the money of the disciples. He was holding Jesus' money. I need to emphasize, he was holding Jesus' money. But when Jesus, this side, is performing miracles and is healing the sick and is doing all of this side, Judas is taking from the money, he's stealing from Jesus. Why? Because he's a thief. His heart is not okay. The condition of his heart is bad. And what does that make us, or what does that bring us to understand about Judas? That the devil seeks for a candidate to use on the basis of the condition of their heart. The devil seeks a candidate to use on the basis of the condition of the heart. So Judas' heart was a candidate to be used by the devil. I want you to understand that. So now you need to investigate, to recheck, to look into your heart. Because the manner or the condition in which your heart is applies you to be a candidate to be used by the devil or not. Hence I said, look into it, look deep into your heart, because there's no manner of performance that will be able to make us to change the manner of heart that you're in. People are looking for performances. They are going to churches, they are going to prophets, they are going to all of this because they've seen performance. But they come back and there's no change. Why? Because there's no performance that will change a person. Even if they can prophesy you now and do all of that and you are excited, but that will not change the condition of your heart. It's just a mere performance. If performance could have changed a person's heart, Judah's heart would have been changed a long time ago. But what can change a person's heart? Now that brings me to the message, that the concluding message which I will bring to you guys tomorrow. What can change a person's heart is the person, it is the knowledge, it is the revelation of who Christ is. I want to close it there, but I'll come to it tomorrow. For today I want us to wrap up there, to understand that the message that I was bringing actually, as we're looking into our hearts, is that one. And in closing, I want us to pray. Pray, seek the Lord. David says of this, he says, examine, check me, O Lord, check my heart. Check your heart. Check your heart. You know. I'm going to wrap it up and we'll continue again tomorrow. But understand these words as I close. Performance will not change any person's heart. No matter how much you may want to perform for someone that they may change, performance will not do that. If it could, Judas would have been a perfect candidate. But I will continue again. So please think about it. It might be controversial to your ears. It might have questions, but think about it. That is my message for today. May God bless you guys. Thank you.